Hello Drive Radio fans, Richard Rush here today with my good friend Alex Bookman behind the camera. And today we're going to take a long look at the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer SE. This is kind of their second in line, you could say, in terms of trim level. They do have several other options. This one does include their Mitsubishi's AWC system, their all-wheel control or all-wheel drive system, so definitely great for the snow. But we're going to kind of go through some of the features of the car, the interior features. We'll take a quick drive and we'll come back and kind of give you our opinion of it. But as we come around to the front of the car, one thing I do want to point out, which is new in 2016, they've done a color-keyed sport front bumper. Again, right here, which is a little bit different than what they've done in 2015. Other than that, on the exterior, they have not changed an awful lot from 2014 to 2015. In fact, they haven't really hardly changed anything at all. What they have added, as we kind of come around to the side over here, I will point out, they have added these 16-inch two-tone wheels. As you can see, they have the black and the silver right there. They've added their fuse hands-free system on the inside, some high contrast meters with color display, a 6-speaker audio system, fog lights, and as I mentioned, the color-keyed front bumper. And what it does do in terms of the 6-speaker system is this particular model that we do have actually has a $1,700 option on it, which gives you a leather-wrapped steering wheel and shift knob, the moon roof right here, which Alex, I'm not sure if you can get it or not, but it does have a nice sunroof there. And it also gives you a 9-speaker sound system, which honestly, one of the best features of this car is the sound system, is the subwoofer, which we'll show you as we get to the back. In terms of horsepower, this car does have 168 horsepower. It is operated by a CVT transmission. So for those of you who don't know, that's a continuously variable transmission. If you want to know more information about that, head to some of our other reviews. We go in a little bit more in depth. As you can see, this car does actually have the backup camera as well. As it sits right here, $23,000 and about $505. So about $23,000 and some change. Really great value. Miles per gallon, you're going to be running right there at 28, 29 miles per gallon on highway. I was actually able to average that with some city driving as well, so you'd be able to be right at that top end of that range there. So overall, really do enjoy this car. But with that, let's take a quick drive. We'll come back, go through the interior, and then I'll give you my opinion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. All right, fans, we're going to go for a quick drive in the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. But as we always like to do, we like to kind of show you a little bit of the infotainment system. It's a little bit easier to do with Alex being in the back seat. So as you can see, not a lot of physical buttons here. You have the option of tuning the station right here, going to a station list, which will actually update the list. And you can see, again, you can just kind of scroll through here and go and pick your station however you see fit. And it'll actually select it. If you go to the menu, this is kind of your options screen, so you can select what radio station you want, FM, AM, Sirius. If you're using a CD player, if you do have an iPod, you'd like to use Bluetooth audio, setting up your phone, connecting via aux, or choosing some different settings. So a very simple system. I would personally like to see a little bit more physical buttons, but that's just my opinion. Overall, very simple to use. Alex, if you can't, I kind of want to do this here. You can see that you do have the power port right here on the center of the glove box, which we do like to show you right there from time to time. So with that being said, Alex, if you can show one more time, this does have a backup camera, as we showed you, or as you can see in the intro. It does not have the dynamic grid lines, so I am turning the wheel here, and it is not affecting the grid lines, and I know it's hard to see with the glare, but it is nice that you do have a backup camera on a car, again, that's in the very early 20s, or I guess first half of the $20,000 range. So let's take a quick drive here. As I mentioned before, 168 horsepower CVT transmission, does have all-wheel drive options on here, or all-wheel control, I should say, being Mitsubishi. In terms of ride quality, it has a very sporty ride to it. It's not overly stiff to the point of being very uncomfortable. I actually had my wife, along with two of her actual friends, they were heading to a wedding this weekend, and they actually said how smooth the ride was. We could have conversations. We were on the highway, and there was no issues or anything of the sort. So we are going over some bumps. Is it the smoothest car on the road? No, not by any means. But is it gonna be something that jars you to death? Not at all. Definitely a fun car to drive in terms of horsepower. You do have a low gear option here, so being able to drop it into low versus drive is definitely a nice feature. Overall, Really impressed with this car. The info, or the center screen, I should say, does give you quite a few options in terms of, it shows you a lot of different information, whether it be your gas mileage, how many miles that you have till empty, what your fuel range is, obviously. A lot of nice features on the interior, and again, you have a lot of your controls available to you here on the steering wheel in terms of volume, selecting what radio station you want, your presets, those sorts of things. And one thing I did mention, which it's hard to get, especially with this, but actually let's see if we can get it, is the sound system. And I wish that we could find a good song that we could just kind of blast and show you, but again, it's hard to experience. If that is something that you're looking for in a car, definitely would highly recommend this sound system, and then especially that 9-speaker sound system, the $1,700 package that is an option. So with that, let's head back and we're going to go through the interior, and I'll give you my opinion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. All right, Drive Radio fans, we're here for the I guess rear portion and into the interior portion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. As we always say, and I'm sure some of you are sick and tired of hearing it, get out, drive these cars yourself. You're really not going to be able to experience it until you do so. But we're here on the trunk portion. You can either open it with the key fob, or right here's a nice little handy button. To be honest with you, we were actually just talking, I didn't even notice this right here until we were getting ready to open the trunk. They've integrated it that well, and some of you are going to say, oh, well, if it's that hard to find, but really it's just integrated that well into the trunk, you don't even notice it. So just hold it down, it's going to pop up a little bit. You lift it up, obviously it's not an automatic trunk, but once you get a little bit of a push, it will go up. I did mention in the intro that you do have the optional subwoofer right here, which does take up some of the room, but for those of you who maybe like to listen to your music louder, or like to do whatever you want to do, great feature. It really does hit hard and it sounds great. Nice size trunk for this segment. I don't know if you're going to be really tightly pressed to get a bag of a bag of golf clubs in the trunk, especially with this subwoofer right here. Not a huge feature, or I guess I should say disadvantage, but something that you might want to be mindful of. One thing I do like to point out on this is, you'll notice some of you are going to comment, oh, well, this isn't covered up. You still have, you have the bracing and the metal struts that open it that are exposed. Well, keep in mind, this car is $23,000 and some change. You're not going to get all the amenities on a luxury vehicle that you will get here. But really, do you need that? That's where you're going to have to be the judge. Personally, I don't mind it, and I think Mitsubishi has done a great job on this back end here. And I also do want to point out that you do have the taillight integrated actually into the trunk rather than on the back window here. So definitely a nice feature. But with that, let's hop right here to the back seat. Show you how much room is for your rear passengers. So as you can see, this seat all the way back. Alex was riding in here just a second ago, and I still got a good three inches or so of legroom right here. So definitely a nice feature. Cup holders, you do have them right here in the middle console. So if you needed that, which actually took several people on trips this past week, and was able to use that. Door, there's a lot of plastic, a lot of molding, but again, you've got to factor in how much this car is worth. Some of you are going to say, oh, well, there's not enough luxury features. Well, this car is not meant to be a luxury car, but overall, really impressed. Great back seat, does have cloth interior, but again, very impressed with that. As we do hop out, we like to show you, very easy to do. You do have a slope right here, which you might have to be conscious of if you are a lady getting out, but overall, nothing that I would be too concerned about at all. All right, fans, we're here on the front seat for the interior portion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer, and going to go through some of the features that we weren't able to cover in the driving portion. Again, we already covered the cloth seats, the plastic apportionments on the door. One thing that I will point out here is, you'll notice there's not a lot of buttons on here. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons in this entire, I guess, front center stack dash, which really is different from the competitors. You have a volume power button here. Everything else is done through the touchscreen, which we kind of showed you in the driving a little bit. Something you do have to get used to. I'm personally a fan of some physical buttons. It helps you get more a feel of the car, but is it something that's going to make or break it? That's where you're going to have to be the judge. You do have a nice gauge cluster in front of you. As I mentioned, the multicolor screens that they give you. You do have the Bluetooth. Bluetooth connects fairly fairly simply when you are using it. It is good. The only thing I got commented was, again, this car's not meant to be a soundproof box, and so it got quite a bit of road noise in terms of the Bluetooth system here. But overall, really impressed. There's not a lot of bells and whistles right here. You do have 2 front seat heaters right here. You can go high or low with those seat heaters. And for your, we talked about the AWC system. You do have the capability right here of going 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or even going 4-wheel drive lock. So definitely a nice feature. Doesn't have dual climate controls or anything like that, but again, something that you're going to have to be the judge of. Does that really matter to you? You do have nice steering wheel controls and that such. But with that being said, I'm actually going to hop around to the other side and give you my opinion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. All right, fans, here's my opinion of the 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer. What do I think of this car? Very fun car to drive, very sporty feel, very economical car in terms of not only gas mileage, which you're going to be able to average close to 30 miles per gallon, but in terms of your wallet, you're not going to fork over a lot of cash for this car. So that makes it a great first car, a great economical car if you don't want to impact your wallet all that much. So if you're just looking for a car, it's not too flashy, but it's going to be very functional, it's going to get you around in the snow, this might be the car for you. Some downsides. There's some cheaper aspects of this car. There's not a lot of leather except for the steering wheel and the shift knob. There's some of those other features, but to be honest with you, it doesn't really bother me for this car. You're spending $23,000 for this car as it sits right here with a very nice sound system, which again, if you don't want that, you're going to be sitting about $21,000 for this exact vehicle. The only complaint I did have was the infotainment system. I was not a huge fan of. Had some issues with the Bluetooth connectivity, so would like to see a little bit of an adjustment with that, maybe some more physical buttons as well. But overall, really impressed with this. In my opinion, Mitsubishi has done a great job. This is a great entry-level vehicle, and definitely a fan of that. And if you want to learn more about this car, head to Mitsubishi's website and head to your local dealer. And if you do that and head to your local dealer, tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to our latest video. We really appreciate you listening and watching, and we really do appreciate all the comments that you do have. If you'd like to learn more information, not only about this review, but our other car reviews that we've done, head to our website, www.drive-radio.com. Also head to our Facebook page, facebook.com/driveradio. And last but not least, where you can watch all of these other reviews, head to youtube.com/driveradio, all one word, or in the YouTube search bar, Drive Radio. We have a lot of other content on there, and we look forward to you heading there, again, checking us out, leaving your comments. And if you're interested in any of these cars, head to your local dealer and tell them that John and Richard Rush from Drive Radio sent you. Thanks, and have a great day, night, and just enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much.